Wolfenstein is one of those franchises that has like historic importance, but not really a strong kind of identity. Like, I don't feel like people are clamoring for another Wolfenstein. I really wasn't, but then I got to play Wolfenstein: The New Order and beat it on like super hard, and I really loved it. It was this fast-paced gameplay. The shooting was like this brawny, satisfying feel, but also when you ratchet up the difficulty, like really urgently paced, because you didn't have regenerating health. You had to get to spots on the battlefield to get stuff to stay alive. You'd run out of ammo and switching up weapons, and it all just created that kind of dynamic feel. And then it looked really good, but it was really the characters that sold me on it, right? Like BJ Blazkowicz is even a character. Yeah, he totally is. And then there's like this other whole roster of people that you care about or are interested in or are funny, and it just like ended up being this game with real heart that I really enjoyed. So yeah, Wolfenstein was special, but Destiny, I ended up playing so much of this, and it was not because the worlds are beautiful, and they certainly are. It's a gorgeous game. And it's partly because the mechanics are so smooth, it just feels so good to shoot anything and use any gun in that game. But for me, the connection was really a social one. It was running strikes and running in the Crucible with people and getting together that raid crew to take on the Vault of Glass over and over again and like refine our techniques even when we were low level, and then like trying to scrape out that armor to get to that next little bit. Like, I just got so wrapped up in that. And then coming in the next morning, you know, after an evening's raid and talking to my coworkers who I played with, or the ones who were like way beyond me, and like learning about all the little bits and bobs of armor and weaponry and exotic this and legendary that, I didn't really think I would ever care about that kind of stuff. But Destiny totally made me care about all that stuff. I played Dragon Age Origins, wasn't really into it. Skipped Dragon Age 2, wasn't really stoked for Dragon Age Inquisition until Kevin Van Ort started telling me about it and how much he loved it and how cool it was, and all right, Kevin, I'll try it. I will play it. And like, next thing you know, I'm 10 hours in, I've stayed up till 3 a.m. the past 3 nights playing this game, just getting so immersed in the exploration. The world building, all that stuff in Dragon Age, it isn't what gets me, and it took me a little while to sort of get into that stuff. But what got me into it was the exploration and going through the hinterlands and then leaving and going down to the Fallow Mire and then up to the Storm Coast and out to the Oasis, Forbidden Oasis, and all these places that felt different. It felt rich, that had so many things to explore, and then bringing these characters along with me who would just quip and like talk about what was happening or stuff that was going on in their lives, or just like make fun of each other. Like, that game has personality, and that's what got me into the mythology. And then I started reading all these books I was picking up, and that's what got me into these relationships with these characters. I started having all these conversations and really getting wrapped up in it.
I believe you are innocent.
So I started a few of these out being like, I wasn't really excited for this, but then it was really cool. Titanfall, I was really excited for. So amped to get into that, that wall running, those Titans, and it delivered. It just was this incredibly fresh take on first-person shooters, which I don't know if you can tell that I'm a fan of. The way those battlefields were so varied and so like evergreen to me, just finding these lines to run along the walls and then like stop and hold up to disrupt what my opponents were thinking I was gonna go, and just these one-on-one fights that you're just jumping all over the place, so good. And then the Titans, like more methodical but still so damaging, so strategic, such a vital part of the battlefield, and how you just go seamlessly between them, and like every fight has like things this big and things this big, and they're both really deadly, and you gotta watch out for both of them. It was just so good.
Enemy Titan down. Shields are down, team. Protect the harvester.
This was a fun year in games. There was a lot of stuff that I had a good time playing. I mean, the 4 games I've mentioned so far, there's a ton more that didn't sort of make it onto the narrow it down, choose 5 list. But there's really only one game that I felt from this year is essential in the canon of video games, is essential for people to play, is essential for me, like in my life, to have played, to play again, and to to put up on that pedestal, and that's The Last of Us Left Behind, the DLC for The Last of Us. It is wonderful. It's a story about Ellie and Riley, these two teenage girls living in this totally messed up post-pandemic world, and it's about their friendship and the way that this game does their relationship, does dialogue, does small mannerisms. The acting, the writing is all just so good, so subtle. It's not just like the big blowout stuff because we live in this terrible place. It's the small things, the like ebb and flow of friendship. It's trying to like feel itself out and, you know, haven't seen each other in a while, that kind of thing. And what makes it really special to me is the way that gameplay complements, underscores, multiplies, amplifies, just resonates so strongly with that character. Because normally, a lot of games you have character and you have gameplay, and like you switch between the two and you sprinkle a little character on the gameplay. But the way it took gameplay mechanics like shooting, like sneaking, like throwing bottles and bricks, and made it part of their bonding, part of their relationship, and did it and made it in a non-violent way. I mean, I really enjoyed the violent gameplay in The Last of Us, but the moments of Ellie and Riley just exploring this mall where you get to do these immensely creative things, it just was a revelation to me in terms of the kinds of stories we can tell in video games, the ways we can tell these stories in video games, and how we have like barely scratched the surface. And it's a game that made me so happy to play video games and to love them, and so happy for where video games are going in the future.